You want me to put that on my todger?
This one's wife. Rinsing and reusing jam jars. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife released a newsletter, and I've taken you through its content, demonstrating the self-absorbed nature of this narcissist. But how has it been received more widely? What does mainstream media think about it? Well, New York Magazine commences with some royal rumblings from Margaret Hartman, who explains this one's wife's latest big idea, rinsing and reusing jam jars. This one's wife has taken a lot of flack for her two recent business endeavours, a Netflix lifestyle show and her product line As Ever. The 8-episode series pioneered new frontiers in unrelatability per Vulture, as the Duchess poured things from one container into a prettier container and passively aggressively informed Mindy Kaling that her last name is now Sussex. Meanwhile, it's not entirely clear what products this one's wife is selling, definitely food, maybe other stuff, or even how her brand's new name should be styled. American Riviera Orchard is now either As Ever, capital A, capital E, or As Ever, capital A, small case e. Nevertheless, like any true millennial girl boss, this one's wife persisted. In a Monday morning email to people who signed up for As Ever updates, the Duchess of Sussex shed light on several of her products, but not too much light. The email does not say exactly when the products will go on sale. I'm so excited to introduce the As Ever collection to you this week, this one's wife teases. A click on the absolutely stunning photo of raspberry jam-drenched crepes brings you to the As Ever website, which is similarly vague. 8 items are shown, including honey, teas and flour sprinkles, but don't bother looking for prices, product descriptions, or an exact launch date. While we don't learn a ton about this one's wife's wares, the email is full of other useful information. For anyone who subscribed for updates about a British Royals Monty Shitshow-inspired home goods brand but has never heard of crepes, this one's wife explains what they are, street-side thin pancakes, what they can do, house various other foodstuffs, and their deeper essence. They are a canvas for flavour. And there are even free tips. Worried about what you'll do with the packaging from your As Ever raspberry spread, should you decide to purchase it for an unknown sum at some undetermined point in the future? Well, you can keep the keepsaking packaging to hold love notes or special treasures, and to remember this pivotal moment with this one's wife. And that's not all. Once you've slathered every last drop of jam on those easy-to-make crepes, you can wash the jar out and use it for other stuff. Hopefully the Duchess has trademarked this idea. I have a feeling it's going to be huge on shabby chic wedding Pinterest boards. Upon further investigation, the most remarkable thing about the jar and its packaging is that this one's wife has opted to present jam like fancy perfume. And a video posted to Instagram last week revealed that us plebs will receive factory-produced jam, not the handmade stuff that this one's wife sent to several dozen celebrity friends. But I'm still looking forward to making the everyday exceptional by reusing that jam box. I will surely think of it as our time capsule to remember that time both this one's wife and I were kind of confused about the nature of her brand. New York Magazine, rinsing it, not the jars, but rinsing the concept once again, highlighting the fact that this woman is ridiculous, that she doesn't have a clue. It takes the piss, and it demonstrates that because of her self-absorbed narcissism, her grandiosity in believing that everything she touches turns to gold, but as we all know, she's got the Sadim touch, the reverse Midas touch, whereby anything that this cretin gets involved in it turns into shite, but her narcissism prevents her from recognizing that it's her fault, so she keeps on doing it and doing it and doing it. This woman brings out a newsletter telling you about products that you can't yet buy and doesn't tell you when you can buy them. She doesn't tell you what the products actually are and what's in them, nor does she tell you what the price of them is. She just wants you to respond, because she doesn't think like a businesswoman. Do you know why? Because she isn't one. And advisors may well have said it would be better to ensure that everything's organised and then launch it. No. I know best. It'll create a buzz. All it's done is create ridicule. All it's done is create the concept of you're not ready. That you've put this arse about face. Because, of course, this one's wife always knows best. Because her narcissism tells her that she knows best. The Times newspaper also announces it. Kieran Southern writes, this one's wife's as ever jam goes on sale. Mimic the magic of Monty Shitshow. Perhaps you are one of the people chomping at the bit to taste the Duchess of Sussex's famed raspberry jam. Maybe it is her fuss-free spin on lemon ginger tea that excites, or the crepes that remind this one's wife of her time backpacking in France. The wait for those and more is almost over, as the Duchess announced that her As Ever collection will be available this week. It then makes reference to the newsletter and quotes from it, and doesn't really tell us anything other than what's going on. This time it's a more neutral article, not taking the piss in the way that New York Mag has, but simply telling us what's going on. But the flavour of this article is not to be found in the article itself, which, as I've just mentioned, is rather neutral, but from the comments below. Peter Cooper writes, please, we don't wish to see her photo on the front of the paper nor hear about her jam. Please let her and her husband fade into obscurity. John Collett quotes, elevate into the exceptional, spark connection, pivotal moment, a time capsule. It's just jam for God's sake. Just a pot of jam. No wonder this lady invites ridicule. William Christie, I'm all right with Waitrose, thanks. S. Smith writes, I'm all right with Tesco. M. Gapper, there are few people I can think of who are less relevant at the moment. This one's wife's jam, she could have achieved so much more in the royal family. Steve Dawson sarcastically writes, the clincher for me was the repurposing as a flower pot. I'm all in. Neil Martin, why is that woman yet again in the Times? This is not news. S. Graveston, privileged woman gets someone to make jam. Read all about it. J. Simpson, it's not like she's solved cold fusion. If she did, that might be worthy of an article. P. Miller, why is this tagged as royal family? Howard Betts, why, oh why, does the Times waste column inches on this narcissistic individual and her latest attempt to be relevant? There are much more important things going on in the world. Please refrain in the future. D. Wilson, it's also vapid. Madeline Cox, is this a quality newspaper? If so, please stop putting this piffle on the front page or anywhere else. Stuart Randall, please can the Times stop reporting on this vacuous nobody? Sadly, I'm sure lots of people who want to live their best life surrounded by love and joy will buy her useless tat. Condemnation, several hundred comments, all basically condemning her as vacuous and irrelevant, or asking the Times, why are you reporting on this woman? And yet she persists. She persists because her narcissism tells her that she is right and everybody else who is a critic is wrong. She persists because her narcissism wants her to gather that residual benefit of money. After all, she is going to be a billionaire. You know, this one's wife, Martha Stewart, is worth about $400 or $500 million. She's far more talented and she's been in this game far longer than you have, and she still isn't a billionaire. Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop has been around for much longer. She's better known, not that well liked, admittedly, but she's got some talent, and she's worth somewhere in the region of $250 million. This just shows the grandiose delusion of this woman that she thinks, I know, I can come up with a shitty concept which isn't groundbreaking, but it's going to make me a billionaire. She ought really to be sectioned at this juncture. I'm H.G. Judah. Thank you for listening.